Alright, coffee is the most important part of the beginning of my day, without question. I grind my beans every morning. 2 scoops, like Raisin Bran, right? 2 scoops, and we grind. I don't know if I should talk right now. This helps wake you up too, the noise. I think it's better to grind in the morning because it's fresh, you know? So, that does that. Now this is a Chemex beaker, like this. It's not for everybody, I'll explain why, because you have to be here for the making of the coffee. It's not automated in any way. And there are special filters for it. Like this, they're in paper squares, folded specially. And you make a cone out of it when you unfold it. Put your grounds in. And then, water. I've already boiled the water, so I didn't want to have to sit through that. I just turned off the kettle. And when you put the grinds in, you just get it wet. You just get the grounds wet. You don't want to float them or anything, you just want to get the grounds wet. Okay, so right now the grounds are just wet. And the aroma is awesome. I'm actually waking up already. It takes a little time for me, you know. Alright, so they're wet, and something happens to them chemically when they're just moistened. I'm not sure what. I just followed the directions. And then they're sufficiently moistened and the water that was left has dripped through. I will pour a full sort of cone reservoir into the top. Alright, that'll come through when it comes through. This whole process usually takes probably about 10 minutes. I'm not going to see through the whole thing. Like I said, this is not for everybody. You know, this is not for the coffee enthusiast who likes to have it made automatically in the morning, you know, like one of those automated makers where you set a timer and all of that. No, this is, I like this because I'm sort of involved with my coffee. I feel like once I've poured my cup and start drinking it, I've really earned it. And I came across this method. This is called a Chemex beaker, in case I didn't mention it before. I came across this method of coffee making from a client of mine, and she, when we would have meetings down in her apartment, she would make me coffee. And it was the best coffee I'd ever had. And she showed me what this was. And so at her recommendation, I went to a specialized coffee house where they sold these, and the filters, because you cannot get the filters in any store. You have to go, you know, to a special coffee store usually to get them. That is a drag, but if you like coffee like I do, it's worth it. So this is not for everybody, but I really do think this is my preferred method of coffee enjoyment and coffee making. Now I've had them all. I've had percolators. My last coffee maker before this was actually a percolator, a Farberware percolator. I've had drip. I've had French press. I've had espresso machines. I actually love espresso. That's next on my list, but my original espresso machine broke. But this is bar none my favorite. Now some people use a Melita, which drips into, which is a cone that drips into sort of like a Pyrex tea kettle type thing. That's very similar. That's also good. That would be a perfectly good alternative for me if this broke or something and I was in a pinch. Yeah, I'm very invested in this process every morning. So I'll be enjoying coffee in about 3 minutes, 2 minutes. Not bad. So, aren't you glad you watched?